Hey Copper Nerds, this is Robert Power's Early Date Attribution Guide. You have seen me use this one often on my 1794 deep dive videos. One of the things that's unique about the Powers approach is his die crack maps. I love them. Well, today I am excited to be reviewing the brand new edition, the professional edition, which has been broken out into 3 segments for the early dates, which Mr. Powers has sent me to preview for you. So let's get into it. So I glanced at these just briefly when I received them, but you know how we like to do things on this channel, which is reviewing and discussing things cold. You're just going to get my authentic reaction to what we've got here for updates and improvements. I'm going to start with the early date book because, again, that is the one that I am used to. I must have 4 or 5 of these. All are well thumbed and stored in various places: home, office, vehicle, my other office. I use this guide all the time for my 1794s. So let's take a look at what's new and different. Copyright 2025 by Robert Powers. Looks like Mr. Powers has 14 different books right now. Everything from large cents to half dollars and half dimes, quarters. There's a bunch of different books. Here's our maps. What Mr. Powers does is he breaks them out into common and rare, which is helpful. You know, really study these ones. These are going to be your money makers when it comes to cherry picking. But yeah, I love the die break maps. This is one of the most useful resources I've ever encountered. I love it. Okay, getting into the guide itself. It looks like some of our diagnostic features have got some little zooms that are inset next to the coin. We have got our variety, our rarity. We've got our obverse and reverse die information. Die state information is new. And then value, that's interesting. We have a value scale. So the value scale is definitely new, as is the die state information relative to the previous books. S1. Yep, obverse 1, which is used for S1 and 2. Reverse A only appears on the S1 Ameri. Die state information. Interesting. That cut is awesome. There's not very many that exhibit that cut. It is quite rare. Let's see. Yep, cut at TAT, very rare. I know Nathan Markowitz has one, and then this example, but there might only be a couple out there. There's not many. Cool. Again, we have some. Let's see. Eye perfectly dotted by the dental. Okay, so this is showing off the diagnostic in that little inset close-up. That is cool. That is new. Edge reference. Before, our edge reference, I think, only showed one of the two. I'm just going to flip to the right page here off screen. There we go. So the A edge device with the leaf pointing down has been added, and then leaf pointing up means it's a edge of 94 or a B edge device. So good additional information there. I really enjoy that there is some die state information. That is helpful. Bent lock variety, like we have right here. That is the bent lock. There, you can see the bent lock there. Very cool. Let's just thumb through the pages a little bit. Fantastic photos as always. And I really do like the addition of the diagnostic close-ups that are inset. Ooh. Missing fraction bar has a fantastic die crack that goes through D and fills it up. This is the very latest die state. My 64 is that advanced as well. And one thing that you don't see in this photo is that this die is sunken, but in such a high grade you don't see it. But in light circulation, the high point wears off first. So oftentimes you have a very flattened out center from the bulge on the reverse caused by the die sinking. Look at that, some double punching on letters in that close-up, a clash mark. I have like 3 low-grade Sheldon 65s now with the late state crack through the date. Very cool additions, again with the insets and with the die states. Let's look at a couple more. The Draped bust die break maps are fantastic. Really, some of your most spectacular die breaks are within the Draped bust, and on these, Mr. Powers breaks them out by individual year. So we'll flip through a few of those. And the way you use these is you're looking at you got a 1798 and you're trying to figure out what it is, and you say, oh, well, it's got this die break right about there. You go to the map and you look at it and it says, oh, okay, that's going to be a Sheldon 171. 186 and 187 are similar. So then you're going to flip to Sheldon 171, and then you're going to make sure that everything else lines up. There's a 171, and there is that die break. And that is a very scarce die state, it says. Oh, it's got a lot going on. The cud there and the big die break there. Very cool, very cool. And our classic heads. Do we have die break maps on classic heads? Oh, I guess we still have some Draped busts before we get into our classic heads in this segment. Yeah, okay, so we have die break maps for our Liberty caps and for our Draped busts. I have the middle date book as well, which I'm not previewing a new edition of, but the middle date book does not use a die break map. That is only in the earliest of the early dates. But we've got our die state information again. We've got our insets with the diagnostics, great photos, good descriptions. These are really nice books. There's certainly a lot more information packed on these pages compared to what we had before. So as a result, you have some smaller font, but a lot more information. And the price information. Yeah, relative price information. That is interesting. That is definitely new. The elephant trunk. That's a really fun one. I don't have one, but my son does. Mumps. Same, he's got one. I don't have any, but he's into Draped busts and has quite a few. All right. Our 1814. You got the plain or the crosslet for only 2 of them. There are some neat die breaks on the classic heads, but not many. And really not enough to justify the maps. So I'm not surprised that we don't have die break maps for the classic heads, because they just didn't break all that much. I know one of these has a break that goes through there. Yeah, we can just see it there. The photos include it. And the die state information for the reverse. Perfect is rare. And then we've got the arc, die crack, D to S, etc. So a lot more little diagnostic information here along with die states and the value comparisons. Very cool. I like it. I like these new editions for certain. A lot more information than the old ones. Variety identification, die state, and pricing guide. That is the new part. This is what we had to begin with before. You can contact Mr. Powers here at EACbookUSA at hotmail.com, which is how I reached out and talked to Robert for the first time. And I was just checking in with him to tell him how much I liked his book. And then he told me that he was familiar with my channel and that I had been using his books there. And then told me that the new edition was about to drop. So I was really excited to get my hands on them so I could show them to you guys. Just a nice evolution of an already very solid resource. My go-to resource really for attribution is the previous Powers book. This one is updated and improved. And again, you can, if you're collecting Draped busts, you'll want these two. If you're collecting classic heads, you just want this one. And for your Liberty caps, that one and this one, because we're going to have some of our 96 caps in here as well. Let's just get our eyeballs on them. There we go. So here's our 96 caps. Awesome. Well, you're going to be seeing these more often in the future. I will definitely be using them on the deep dives, although I really do like my old school spiral bound edition. This one is just one that I'm so comfortable with because I've use it all the time. Again, home and away and in my car and everywhere I'm at. But yeah, well, thank you, Mr. Powers, for getting these to us to check out. Nice work. Appreciate everything you're doing for variety attributions, which is a fun little investigative hobby. And the die break maps, again, are an invaluable resource, particularly on early dates where we have so many die breaks. It makes attribution so quick and easy. All right. Thanks for checking this out with me, you guys. Hit me up in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.